story time of how I caught my ex-boyfriend cheating on me. Y'all better be ready because this one is good. So I started dating this guy when I was 16, turning 17. We were friends first, and I even knew his friends and I knew his family. And he's actually asked me out once before, but I said no because he was a player. And so by the time I turned 16, I said yes to dating him. So things were really great at first. I was really into him and we would go on so many dates and he was super sweet. And there were definitely signs, but I totally missed them. And I'm just not the type of girl to like go through a guy's phone. I noticed he was super active on Snapchat, which is never good. One day he posted a Insta picture and I looked at the comments and there was a girl in the comments, which is fine. Girls can definitely comment. I am not a jealous person, but she had left a comment that said, "You're so hot," with a bunch of emojis. And these emojis were all hard eyes, guys. But a part 2 to see me blend this out and to hear the rest of the story.
Get ready with me story time with new makeup products. Also, if you hear anything in the background, I'm watching Tangled. So this story time, hold on. Anyways, guys, this story time is about a funny moment that happened in second hour. So I'm gonna go all the way from the beginning. So my second hour class is my English honors class, and we had our teacher for like the whole year, well, half the year, because towards the end of the year, or like not too long ago, maybe like 2 months or 1 month ago, she quit. And there's like a whole reason for why she quit, but that's like a whole nother story time. But anyway, so now since she quit, we have this substitute, and the substitute is like an older lady. And for like people with like older teachers or substitutes who may be older, y'all know that like they have their own separate way of teaching, and like how when they were younger, it's like completely different for how things are now. So this substitute really like picks and chooses who she likes and who she doesn't like. And so there's just one kid that we can say she doesn't like, and we're gonna call this kid Jeremy. So the kid Jeremy, you can say he's like slightly autistic, but like he does everything we can do. Like he's really no different from any of us. It's just some of the stuff he says and does, like he has no shame, like he does not care. So basically when we first get in the class, I guess Jeremy was like looking for something in his book sack, and so he began like taking like everything out of his book sack and like laying it out on the floor. Okay, so we're gonna call the substitute teacher, or our teacher now, Miss Mary. And so Miss Mary did not like that all his stuff was on the floor, like at all. So then she started making like a big deal about how all his stuff is on the floor, and like the class was like laughing about it because just like of how she fusses, like she's like old but funny. So I guess Jeremy just wants to get out of the room to breathe, so he asks her, can he go to the restroom? And I don't think it was really fair. I think she just said no because she was mad, but she was like, no, you can't go. And then the messed up thing, after she said no to Jeremy, she said yes to like another student and let them go to the restroom. So I guess her saying no to him going to the restroom kind of led to the main plot of the story. So after the whole you can't go to the bathroom thing, everything started dialing down. Like it was nice and quiet, and like everything was good. So like I said, everything was quiet, and then all of a sudden Jeremy raises his hand, and I turned my head because I had a feeling. I was like, he's about to say something just out of pocket. So because his hand is raised, Miss Mary calls on Jeremy, and literally his exact words, he had his Chromebook out and it was opened, and he said, according to the student handbook, you cannot allow, or like you cannot tell us we can't go to the restroom. Go to part 2.
Get ready for a dinner with me, story time edition. So I'm gonna tell you guys the story of how I blew up on TikTok. So it all started in 2020 when unfortunately COVID hit. I'm sure as a lot of you experienced, school was transferred to online classes because of COVID. I'd met my boyfriend a few months prior to COVID hitting, so we both had some time on our hands and decided to start making couple videos. My page did not start in beauty, but your girl has always had a passion for it. So my boyfriend and I started making couple videos for about 3 months, and quite a few of them started to go viral. So I knew there was a lot of room for growth on the app and just continued posting 6 to 8 times a day. I know 6 to 8 times a day sounds crazy, but consistency really is key. So my followers at the time started commenting and asking me how I did my makeup. And since I'm super passionate about makeup and I've always loved it, I started to make tons of videos about beauty. As I continued to be really consistent with the beauty, the videos started to go viral. Going in with the Laura Mercier loose setting powder, go to part 2.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the story has arrived. Get your popcorn. We're gonna talk about how I got cheated on and how I walked in on my ex
doing you know what with another girl. Okay, so we're going to backtrack it all the way to that morning. So I wake up, I go over to his house, I have work that day, and I'm like, hey, like I show up, there's clients, he owns a outfitter business here where I live, and I'm like, hey, like it's nice to meet you, the clients had arrived. It was a group of girls. Which, side note, it's not weird that it was girls because that happens all the time, but he rents out his house as an Airbnb to his clients, so normally he stays with me. So he was just there, like, getting him settled in and everything. So I met all of them. So I hang out there for a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I have to leave for work. It's nice to meet y'all. And so then I leave, and he's like, can you pick me up later and take me to your house? And I was like, yeah, of course. So while I'm at work and everything, he's like acting all weird, like not Snapchatting me, which like our main communication was on Snapchat and text, like we did both. And so we're like, shoot, hold on. So he's just being really sketchy and everything all day long and like not really answering my questions and stuff, like just not being right. And I know he wasn't working. He was just at the house hanging out with all these girls that came in town to hunt. So we're just like, I'm like confronting him about him acting weird and everything. And I'm like, dude, you're being so weird. Like, are you cheating on me? I have like a gut feeling. And he's like, no, Taylor, like you're stupid. Like you suck as a person, like blah, 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 blah. Like literally downing me all day. And so I'm like crying at work. It's fine. I'm fine. And so then he's like, I'm going to bed, like, I'm going to sleep on the couch, like, pick me up, I'm too drunk to drive to your house. And I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. It's 8 o'clock. I get off work an hour early, and I show up to his house, and I walk in to wake him up, to pick him up, and he's, like, on the freaking couch with this random girl. Mid taking a shot, by the way. So I walk in, I'm like, this is awkward, like, I'm going to go home, you can stay here. So I leave. So I get home, my roommate's like, no, girlfriend, like, go back to the house and see if he's cheating on you. So I'm like, okay. So I call my other girlfriend, and I'm like on the phone, and I pull up to his house, and his like window to his living room's open. And so like I literally like army crawled. I'm on the phone with my friends. So I army crawl all the way up to his window, and I'm listening, and it is so, like, I cannot make this up. Like, it is so obvious that they're about to, you know what, because he's like saying like, take off your shirt, and she's like, nah. Plus, I'm, like, looking through the window and watching this all unfold. So then I, like, bang on the door and everything, and I'm like, hey, I'm here. I walk into the house. They go running. She's hiding in the closet. He's fake sleeping. And I'm like, I know you just cheated on me. I'm better than you. I'm better than this. And you do not deserve me. So that's it.
I saw a video of a girl asking if you've ever had a friend that just hated you, and I thought this was my time to shine. So I went through a lot of different like friend groups and best friends and stuff throughout my whole life, but I had one friend that I had for 7 years and one friend that I had for 4. And the friend I had for 7 years met, I started becoming friends with this other girl in high school, and I just introduced the two of them together, so then all 3 of us became a trio. And one weird thing about my school was that we didn't have, like, people weren't just, like, friends with just one other person. Like, there weren't a whole lot of that. It was a lot of big groups. So even though we weren't popular, everybody, like, knew of us because we were that weird group that, like, the weird trio. Like, I'm telling you, even teachers knew not to separate us because we were going to, like, back together. So fast forward to senior prom, we're going to call them Rachel and Ashley. Rachel and Ashley went to Ashley's house and decided that they were going to get ready together, and I got ready at my house. Now, this made sense because Ashley lived pretty far out, and I had a hair appointment in the middle of the day, so it didn't really make sense to drive all the way out there, drive back into town, drive back out there. I just got ready at my house. And if you've seen my prom pictures, you know I did Lady Gaga's Met Gala look for prom. Skipping blush and highlight because I'm doing that in a different video. So I finished my makeup, and I text a picture of it to Rachel. And she's like, oh, you need to take that off. You cannot wear that. That is embarrassing. Like, we do not want to be seen with that. And I'm just like, no, like, I spent 2 hours on it. I did not have time to take it off. I was like, no. And she was like, okay, well, then we're not going to come get you. Now, my parents had my car because one of their cars was in the shop. And I was like, you have to come get me or I can't get there. So begrudgingly, they come to my house and they pick me up. And then we meet all of our parents to go do pictures. Now, when we get there, they take one picture with me. Also, no, the whole drive over, they did not talk to me or acknowledge me. So they take one picture with me, then I get sprayed by a sprinkler and I get soaked. So now I'm crying. They do not care. They have better things to do. And then at this point, the parents are finding this weird because I'm being like completely overlooked and that's never happened before. At least that they've seen. So all the parents are like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine." So we finish pictures and say farewell to our parents. So then we go to dinner. It's the most awkward thing ever. No one talks to me. So I'm just like, okay, when I get to prom, I'll find other people. At prom, some other girls hang out with us, so it's fine. It doesn't feel too awkward. Then when we get in the car to leave, Ashley looks at Rachel and is like, "Hey, do you want to spend the night at my house?" And Rachel's like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So Ashley goes, "Great. We'll drop Allie off and then we will go to my house." And that's exactly what happened.
Get ready with me for a fight. So basically, this girl wants to fucking fight me, y'all. Like, if you know me at school, I'm like one of the sweetest people. Like, I mind my business. I don't talk to anybody. Like, I have my 4 friends that I talk to all day. No, 5 that I talk to all day. If you don't see me talking to them, then I have my headphones in and I'm minding my business. So there's this girl, not gonna say names, we're just gonna call her Mia. So y'all remember yesterday how I was talking about Sam and how he's a hoe, right? And how I wanted to mess with him, but he didn't want a relationship, basically. So I stopped talking to him. So I forgot to say good morning. Good morning. I was just too excited to tell this story. So he used to mess with this other girl named Bree before he started to mess with me. And Bree got really sad that, cause she really liked him, and so she got really sad that he didn't want to like be in a relationship with her, basically. So when he started messing with me, she got mad at me. So Miss Girl is mad at me, and she was like, and Simone was kissing on my boyfriend. First of all, baby, I didn't even kiss him. I never put my hand, that boy never put a hand on me. I never put a hand on that boy. So where did you get kissed from? Because that never happened. So let me get into like what happened yesterday. So I was minding my business, and every little so often when I am in the mood, I go into the bathroom to see how I look, just to see if I have something on my face or something. So I go into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me. So I walk into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me, and I'm just checking myself in the bathroom because every so often I just go in the bathroom and to see how I look. And she happens to go in before me. She says, when I walk in there, she says, "I'm not gonna deal with this bitch," and walks out. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, babes. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's not talking about me. So then I get out the bathroom, I'm walking to my class, and she goes and says she talking all this shit, but she not gonna do nothing. Y'all gonna have to go to part 2. Sorry.